Hey, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Lonesome Cowboy Podcast. And today I have another musician for you to meet. And this gentleman's name is Mr. Ken McLachlin. Ken, how are you?
Great, Brian. How are you?
So far, so good.
Yeah,
So,
same here.
yeah, coming all the way down from the Lake Huron area and stuff like that. Tell me all about this album that you got out now called Folk from Home. Tell me about what's going on with that.
Oh, it's a collection of songs that I've written some years ago, some recently, and they all point back to the Blue Water area where I'm from. So there's
Hmm.
some historical songs, and yeah, it was just a fun album to do. I always want to do one like that.
Right. So, and what's the gist? Does it carry a theme with it, or is this just basically a love letter, I guess, to you to the area where you live?
Well, it's just the fact that all the songs have some kind of tie to the area where I'm from. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And Celtic Offspring. Tell me about
Oh
that
yes.
time. Tell me about the time with
That was
Celtic Offspring.
Oh man, that was a time for sure. That was a band that I was in from 1993 to 2023, and we absolutely rode the Celtic wave that was going through at the time. And
Hmm.
River Dance was uh, the be all and end all, and artistic directors were booking Celtic acts like crazy. And we just caught that wave at the right time. So it was a really good band, nonetheless. 3 CDs, music video, and we played everywhere across Ontario, the East Coast, Nova Scotia, down into the States and New York,
Hmm.
Ohio, uh, boy, Illinois. Yeah, we really got around. And back then, you could. That was before 9/11, of course, and
Yeah, right.
so the paperwork flowed a little smoothly back then.
It's and how many albums or all did the band put out, Ken?
We put out three.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool. Um, It sounds like they were going places. What brought all that in that project to a close?
when the Celtic Wave was done, it brought the bookings to a screeching halt. Like it was we had kind of had a decision to are we going to go back into the bars to keep things alive or uh, what we're going to do next. So we ultimately just folded the project and to wait and see what was going to happen. And the whole Celtic thing just kind of dried up, and it was very specific to the East Coast, and it was hard to get into the festivals, even in Ontario
Hmm.
after that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's and yeah, because making the transition, I mean, some of them did do that, like the Lorena McKennetts and
Oh, for
uh
sure. Yeah.
I
The
can't
Beverly
Vera
Hills kept
McNeil's,
playing.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 But I guess it's kind of very niche, I guess, and if you got too much of it, then there can only I guess a certain amount it can take in the market, I guess.
Yeah, it was. It got really saturated there for a while.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. When I was reading your bio, it says that you were teaching. Now, is this music teaching or teaching teaching?
No, I was teaching guitar for a while. I did that
Okay,
for a few years. Yeah,
right
I
on.
was after the Celtic Offspring project, so I brought in a few students, and that was the best experience for me because I learned so much myself because I had a couple of really eager students that were actually surpassing where I was going, and so I'd spend the week before going over things and trying to teach them new things, and it brought my skill level up at the same time.
Yeah. So, was the band with the Celtic Offspring, was that a full-time job for you then at that time, Ken?
Oh, right. We were like this close. We were so close to going full
Really,
time.
eh?
Yeah, we were playing soft theaters and festivals for the most part. And when it all dried up, I mean, that was kind of an awakening to go like, "Ooh, maybe we shouldn't quit our day jobs."
Hmm. Yeah, and that was it. So what was your what day job did you not quit, or what day job did you go do?
Well, at the time when I started, I was working in one of the refineries here in Sarnia. It
Oh
was
yeah.
Polystar at the time. They made synthetic rubber, so that's when the band started. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So and then that's what you did. And you stayed doing that kind
But
of vocation for a while?
no, actually, you know what? In when was that? In 1999, so things were kind of going south in the rubber industry and things being sold off. And I wasn't sure if I was going to have a job, so I threw some applications out there. in law enforcement because I always thought that would be a real interesting job to have. So I worked for the city of Sarnia with Sarnia Police until I retired.
So you're a police officer.
I was at the time, yep, yep,
Yeah, that's
for 23
fantastic.
years.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
And I was a corrections officer for 11 years.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
1986 to 98, 99, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. You just arrested him.
Interesting
I
work.
had to live with him.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's kind of cool. And you kept up your music while you were still in the force?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what, Brian? Music has been in my life since I was 12, 13 years old, and it's been the constant, the steady thing throughout. I've always considered myself uh, a musician with a day job. Pay the bills and support the hobby as it was. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So I never ever ventured out as a full time musician. Um, Kind of looking back on it, I regret it at some points. But I mean, that was the path I chose, so that was it. So
Yeah.
my hats off to those guys who could get out there and tour
Yeah.
and live the lifestyle.
Celtic Offspring was pretty close. I mean, because you guys were touring a lot and
Well,
three albums
we were
and
very
so
close. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it came very close. Yeah.
Did you guys end up with a label? On a label, I should say?
Stayed independent. No, we stayed independent. We had a distributor out in Vancouver that was getting us into all the record stores at the time. Um, so I basically managed and booked and did the publicity, did all that stuff. So I learned an awful lot about the industry when I was doing that.
Hmm. Um, so right now, can you just kind of perform close to home, within your,
I do, yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
don't go too far from home these days.
Hmm.
And I started, when was that? Back in 2017, I think I started. I was in a church band there for a while too before that, which I learned a lot about playing in a big group and harmonies and things like that. That was
Cool.
a very fun experience.
Yeah, right.
And then I started doing some more writing. So when I was at Celtic Offspring, I wrote this song called Beneath the St. Clair, which was about the building of the old St. Clair rail tunnel that went underneath the St. Clair River to connect Sarnia with Port Huron, Michigan.
Right on.
And I bought a historical book about it. I read the whole thing and I started making notes and I put this song together. And geez, I got some decent response and good success from that song. So I really thought, hey, maybe I can try another couple or something. So that kind of piqued my songwriting first, and that's where my whole solo Max Music thing came from was doing the songwriting. I just
Hmm.
had a lot more ideas cooking around up there, so I had to get them out.
Yeah, exactly. So you have, do you think you'll ever get beyond your home area at all, Ken, to spread the word of your music?
Well, I think around Ontario for sure. Now, my wife and I are planning a trip out to Alberta next summer. And so
Cool.
we're going to hook up the travel trailer, and I'm going to bring a scaled down version of my gear, and hopefully we can land somewhere and I can book something and carry along my CDs and my other stuff. And
Yeah, why not? Yeah, sure.
yeah,
That's,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So hey,
that's
we might be up in your area.
well, that's good. I'll keep me posted on what's going on. That's for darn sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I
I
think
was.
as we travel around, I'm going to do things like that. See if I can kind of hit local spots and
Yeah,
and
that's
play
a
with that.
fantastic way to do it, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you get to have your cake and eat it too at the same time.
A little bit. I think I've
Yeah.
been doing that for a long time.
Well, you get to experience the joy and the fun of playing somewhere else, because that's always fun being on
Oh
a
yeah.
strange stage, as I call it. And
It's great to meet people. Yeah.
yeah, it's great to do that kind of stuff. And then, you get to, continue on your way, and it's not going to crush you if you don't sell any tickets or
Yeah.
anything like that.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's to be a
yeah,
working vacation, Nate.
yeah. Well, there's something I'm considering too, and uh, Via Rail has their um, you can play for the depending on the itinerary you pick. You can travel out as far as to Vancouver, and you just got to play, and you get a ticket.
Oh, you're kidding. I've not
Yeah,
heard of this.
yeah, yeah.
Well, that's really good.
I can send you the link. Um,
Oh, yeah, I'd be interested. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
one of our guys there from Folk Music Ontario is off doing that right now, as a matter of fact.
oh, what a cool gig that would be.
Yeah, yeah, it's great fun. All
Oh, yeah.
right. Um, Now, like many of us, you're a grandparent. I am too, also.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do your grandchildren ever come out and see Grandpa play anywhere?
Let me see. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, actually, the oldest one has been out. Actually, she's 19 now,
Oh,
so she
wow.
would be she'd come out and for a while I was getting having her take pictures and handing out cards, and I made up these contact cards with a QR code on it, so it would take people to my link site and my website and everything, and a virtual tip jar. And but anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
she's come on out and seen me quite a few times.
Well, that's good that you put the grandchildren to work. They
Mhm.
can help you with that all kind of stuff. The current landscape in the music business has been called unsustainable. Um, what kind of a major change do you see that you think needs to happen before the system breaks, basically, for the small artist?
What are you talking? The recording end of it or the
Well,
live
anything in that
performance?
respect, because I mean, as you well know, musicians are up against all kinds of stuff nowadays, right? I mean, we're
Oh
up
man,
against,
yeah,
we're up against venues closing, venues not paying what they used to, streaming, recording contracts are basically indentured servitude, and so on and so forth.
yeah, yeah,
And it's basically big money for some artists, and the rest of us don't get anything. So. I'm always
yeah.
curious,
Boy,
will this break, and what do you think is going to have to happen so it doesn't break?
I don't know if it's going to break per se. I see some. I'm hoping some changes come along where there's more respect for the performing artist. I mean, that's been a problem for centuries, right? And but I'd like to see um, us getting paid a little better, a little more help with how we book and respect on that end of it. Um, as far as the recording stuff, wow, like the whole streaming thing is just so damn convenient for the public. They pay their little amount and get access to all this kind of music. Um, I think we have to bring them back into the fold of, hey, we're independent musicians. We have this great stuff going on out here, and you can find me, well, like on my Bandcamp, yourself as well. And I think people are discovering that. They're finding out, hey, we're missing out on a whole big world of music here with these
Hmm.
guys that are working away at it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Gosh, Brian, I wish I had an answer. If I would, you and I'd be going on the road,
Yeah.
and
Well,
pitching it.
and
Uh,
this is one of I ask these questions of in different ways to all my different guests, and no one's looking for the definitive answer, but it's everybody has something to contribute in that respect. You know what I mean? And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and
You,
I've
you know,
always
I've got a line where I ask for so much to play, and if they don't have that in their budget, because that's how I usually word it is, what's your music budget? Like, what can you afford to
yeah.
bring me in and play at your venue? And if they don't have it there, then it's not a matter of turning them down flat. I just say, well, here's what we're doing now. This is how much I ask. This is why, and if you want to have live music, you need to maybe look at your budget a little bit and start adding that to to pay the musicians to come in and play.
Hmm.
Um, so I think I've done that the last couple of years, and be honest with you, playing less now than I was. But I try to pick my venues a little wiser that way, and usually once I get in the door, I do get asked back, and so I think we got a good relationship going on with some of the venues. And um, yeah, I don't know. Um, I think it's a mutual respect thing that they have to have for the musician.
Yeah, and this is what I found about many some venues that and even some organizations where the artist seems to be a means to an end and not the end.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, they're if anything's going to get cut, it's going to be the musician. If anything's going to get, changed, it's going to be the
Yeah,
musician.
yeah.
And it's
But if you're running a business and you don't have the budget for that
mhm,
musician, that entertainment, then you shouldn't have entertainment.
pretty
It's
much.
I mean, if you're hiring a plumber, you have to pay a plumber's rate. And the same thing with musicians. If you want to have quality music, live music in your venue, then budget for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way it goes. Are you still writing, Ken?
Absolutely. I started working on my third album, my third solo album, and
Cool.
I've got about three or four tunes that are hammered out, and I probably have another six or eight that are in the early development stages. So I'm hoping every 2 years to put one out.
Right on.
Yeah, so
what's your process for recording? Are you I know you've used full band in the back. Is that all you or do you bring in people for that?
that's all me, except
Cool.
for some of the harmonies. I have a harmony pedal that I use, but I try to because I'm very much a fan of the folk world. I try to keep it very folky, rootsy sounding, very grounded that way. And so um, I I play it all. Like I'll do a couple different guitar tracks. I'll use a djembe or a baran, an acoustic bass, and do a little bit of layering. I don't like to over process it because I want it to sound rootsy and sound like me when I play it live. So,
Hmm.
yeah, but no, that's me start to bottom.
And you do it there in your own studio, eh?
Yep, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way it's done nowadays. I mean,
Well, yeah, I like it because I can work at my own pace. I can control the costs. I'm a do-it-yourselfer from way back. So
hmm.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the technology to record at home has really been affordable.
Well, exactly. I mean, sure, I'd love to go into a big studio, but the budget just isn't there. So I decided I'm going to
No.
record my music the way I present it, which is basically just me and the acoustic guitar and my wife
Yeah,
singing backup vocals and putting some percussion in, and that's it. And I think it's
yeah,
more authentic that way because then
absolutely,
you're giving them what they get, kind of thing. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I
yeah.
agree. Yeah,
What you see is what you get. Good stuff. Got
yeah.
when's any plans for getting this released? Do you have any release dates or
No, I don't know. No firm dates yet. I'm still early in writing, so yeah, I'm not there yet.
right on?
I don't know. I don't have a set time schedule. I just kind of pick away at things, and you know, life goes on, and I'll come back down, and I'll get a few things done, and I'll get a brain wave at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm
Yeah.
jumping out of bed, coming down to the studio. Yeah,
Nice.
so it's kind of nice that way. There's no pressure.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's not too far from the way they used to do it in the old days, right? A lot of the studios were
That's right.
in old houses. People, you just stayed there, kind of thing,
That's right. That's
and
right. Yep.
worked
Yep.
whenever you want to. All righty,
Yeah.
Ken. Thanks so much again for coming on to the show. You've been
Hey,
awesome,
thoroughly enjoyed it.
and I really enjoy getting the perspective from someone who's doing it, but does it at a different level than someone else, but still does it respectfully and properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate you having me on. And yeah, I've been doing this for, oh gosh, 40 years.
Right. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Enjoy it thoroughly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I love it. And yeah, I bumped into a one or two fellow law enforcement people in the music business.
Oh yeah. So have I. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And that was the other thing I noticed. I had another podcast where I was interviewing longer interviews, long form interviews, and a lot of the day jobs for many of the musicians is mortician.
Oh wow. That'd be an interesting poll.
Three I have encountered. Three I have
No kidding.
encountered.
No
Yeah,
kidding. No
yeah,
kidding. Hey,
there are
before
more.
we run out of time, Brian, I want to say
Yes.
thanks to you for doing this podcast.
Well,
I've
thank you.
watched and listened to all of them.
Thank you.
I think it's great. It's great motivation and inside information for independent musicians. I use my podcast myself to kind of keep my motivation going, and yours is definitely on the list. So I appreciate you doing this.
Well, super. Thank you very much. And it's always a pleasure when people get it, kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. Yeah,
Outstanding. Ken, thank you once again, and keep an eye out for the episode. It'll be out eventually. We got a lot of guests,
sounds good.
so which is great.
I'll keep up the good work.
Thanks, man. I appreciate your
All right, my
support.
friend.
All right, sir.
All right, take care.
We'll
Yep.
see you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye bye.